Welcome back to Central Valley Talk, where we are doing things a little different these days because COVID. People are, everybody's conducting their life different, and we're still reaching out to people and saying, how are you doing? How are you surviving this? Are you still working? Are you still being creative? Are you still making money? Anyway, if you want to come tell us your story, we'd love to hear it right here on CentralValleyTalk.com. Go to our web channel, CentralValleyTalk.com. You can sign up to be on a spot on our show, and we'd love to have you, that's for sure. Now, do you remember that movie McFarland came out a couple years ago, McFarland USA? Kevin Costner was a track coach and talked about these great kids that really did something in track. Well, we found the real track hero, my former, I don't want to say my old, I'll say my former high school coach from Clovis High, when I went to Clovis High in the 70s, if you could believe that. Pete Romero. Welcome, Pete.
Well, thank you for having me.
You've gone on a long journey. I want to cover some of that.
Yeah.
You weren't even born in America.
No, I was born in Mexico. I came to the U.S. When I was 3, and 1951.
Came up through Texas?
Through El Paso.
Okay.
And came with my dad. He got through America on the Bracero program, and he brought us. Yeah. Shortly after that,
he was a temporary worker program or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He worked on railroads.
Ah.
And then he'd come back and see us and whatnot. But shortly after we came to America, he was working one day, and Border Patrol came and talked to my mom and asked her for papers. And she says, I don't have papers. But my 2 daughters are Americans. They're born here.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, but they're minors. Get in the van, and they've deported us.
They deported you guys?
Yeah, and I thought, what's going on?
You and your mom and your 2 sisters?
Me and my 2 sisters, actually 3 sisters then, and myself.
Okay. And
they deported us. They took us to Mexico and dumped us off.
Wow.
Dad came that night with papers and an attorney, and we came back to the U.S.
Do you remember it?
I surely do, yes.
Pretty traumatic for a...
Kind of frightening. Two big, tall men, white guys, and they spoke perfect Spanish.
Now, you're born in, can we say what year you were born, 1948?
1948,
I already
exactly.
said it there, yeah. So this is about 1955.
Yeah.
Deported, so you're maybe about 7, 8 years old.
Yes.
Okay. And then, what happens next?
Well, we end up in California, because my cousin said, he said, oh, yeah, come over here. The money's on the floor. All you got to do is pick it up.
Pick it up off the ground.
We ended up picking figs.
Picking up figs?
Yeah.
That's the money on the
ground. That was the money on the ground.
Yeah. That's around 56. Now, 1958, you're in school. You're in 3rd grade.
I'm in 3rd grade. Now this whole journey was difficult. You had to learn a whole language, right? Yes. The journey was difficult because it was a new language. Mm-hmm. And the teacher doesn't speak your language, and you don't speak their language. It's a tough go.
Yeah.
And there wasn't bilingual programs, so you had to just make it on your own.
Yeah.
And so this teacher took an interest in me, and she said, "I'm going to hold you back in 3rd grade." And I was really upset, crying, embarrassing.
Yeah.
And she said, "You need to learn the language better, and you need to learn to read better, and you're going to do well." She said, "But I need to hold you back." And, well, little did I know that she also made me an 18-year-old senior, which means athletically, you're much more mature.
Yeah, you gave her a little
She did me a favor.
When you were a senior.
Yeah, and she said...
Do you remember the teacher's name?
Mrs. Mason Hall.
Mason Hall.
Yes, at Lincoln Elementary. And she said, I'm changing your name. You're now Pete Romero, not Pedro Romero. Because she says, I noticed that you get teased a lot. You get bullied a lot. So sure enough, with that name change, the kids stopped bullying me.
Where is this Lincoln Elementary?
Lincoln is in Reedley.
In Reedley?
Yeah.
Reedley, California, for our international viewers. Right up the road from Fresno here.
Yeah. After that, I ended up at a Catholic school at St. LaSalle in Reedley, the Christian Brothers School. And there I learned discipline. They were very strict. And if you wanted to be in athletics, you had to do well in academics. And if you didn't, they wouldn't let you play, Yeah. I did win a championship there. My first, I ran 600 yards and won the championship. After that, I went to the high school, Reedley High.
Yeah.
When I was 15, about middle of my sophomore year, my dad says, oh, by the way, that running stuff, he goes, you're going to work. And I said, no, I want to go to school.
You don't stay after school and do track and things like that.
Yeah, he said, no, you're going to work. And he said, you want to live here, you got to work.
Oh, boy.
And I didn't understand that until later when I found out that a lot of the immigrants, Catholic people, had a lot of kids. They put them to work, and they did well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking if I went to Russia and I had kids and I didn't speak Russian and they didn't speak my language, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
So for that, I appreciated my parents for taking me out of the old country and bringing me to the new country, to the new world.
Land of opportunity.
Yes, land of opportunity. So at 15, I'm out in the street. I'm homeless.
Oh, so it's like either you go to work or you're out of the house.
Right. And I said, no, I'm going to school. He says, well, you can't live here. Get out. So he took my clothes, bundled up a sheet, put them out in the front yard, said, good luck.
Go figure it out.
Yeah. My high school coach picked me up, and he adopted me. So I lived with Cam and Doris Ostrand. And he took me to his house, and there was a huge room, like 15 by 20, and a big, giant, king-size bed. And I walk in there, and I started crying. And he said, what's the matter? And I said, I've never slept in a bed.
Yeah.
You know, when you have 11 people in a two-bedroom house, you probably are not going to get in a bed.
You're not going to get a bed. You're not going to get a giant room.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it was really an emotional thing. And so he, like my dad, a real father figure, and then he taught me about discipline, about dedicating myself to something, setting goals, a lot of things that he thought were even more valuable than running. Lifetime
Goals
goals.
will serve your lifetime, not just in your sport, but in your whole life.
It taught me about character, about being humble. You know, sometimes young people, when they do something, people say, oh, you're great. And so all of a sudden they stop working out because they think they're great.
Yeah.
But he never said you're great. He just said, hey, keep a level head and work hard, you know.
Yeah.
So that was a tremendous experience. And at that time, I won the Valley in the 2-mile, and I was second in the state my junior year. My senior year, I started out with an amazing triple, and the triple was so immense, it was so incredible that Sports Illustrated came and took my picture, and I had a full-color page my senior year in high school in Sports Illustrated. And apparently I did a mile, I did a 2-mile, a half-mile, and a mile so fast that apparently it was the greatest ever by any high school athlete.
I just happen to have a Fresno Bee article from that period. This is about you, right? This is the triple?
Yeah, that's the triple. It was within 2 hours. I ran 8:51. I ran a 1:56 and came back with a 4:15 mile, all within 2 hours.
Yeah. I'll be darned. And the Fresno Bee covered it. Sports Illustrated, national magazine cover.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Well, you know, Illustrated goes all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world. That's right.
As a senior, I won the state. I won Golden West, which is a national championship. And I got a full scholarship to University of Texas at El Paso. And moved over to El Paso. Right away, my freshman year, we went NCAAs. And so I became NCAA All-America. My sophomore year, I won a 2-mile indoor race. Everybody runs a half-mile, four people.
4 lanes.
And we won. We were national champs, so I became another NCAA All-America. And then my senior year, I'm at Drake Relays, one of the greatest relays ever. And we're running against University of Kansas. And the anchor man there is Jim Ryan, who is at the current time was the world record holder in the half and the mile. And I was the anchor of UTEP, and I told my guys, give me a lead, and they did. He couldn't catch me.
Couldn't catch you.
Couldn't catch me. We won. And for that, I became a part of that team, and we were AAU All-Americans. Yeah. So I did very well as a runner in college. When I finished, I got a job coaching. And my first year in coaching and cross-country, the school was Bel Air High School, and we got third in the state. And then my next year, never lost.
Wow.
My freshman and junior varsity and varsity never lost. We won the state Texas championships.
Where's Bel Air? That's in Texas?
At that time, Clovis High recruited me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I ended up here.
Yeah.
And that's where I met you.
That's right, Clovis High, the greatest high school of all time.
Okay, so that brings me to a movie, and it's called Racing the Sun.
You're writing a kind of a,
yeah, I have
a
the script. I have the
screenplay?
script right here.
Nice.
And I wrote 14 years of short stories, like the ones I just reviewed. And I met Coach White from McFarland, and he said, you know, our movie should have been your movie. And I said, why? And he said, because your picture was on my wall, and I'd yell at the kids and say, this guy has all the records, and he ran 3 times a day, and you guys don't want to run once or twice.
Yeah.
So he said, I used to beat him up with your picture. And I said, oh, I didn't know that. And he said, yeah. And he said, you should write, get those notes together and write a story. So I ran into Ed Gota. He's a local writer, has done some documentaries. We met a whole year every Sunday at my house, and we wrote the script.
Nice.
It's 260 pages. It's about 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
And so right now we're in the process of exposing it to different producers in Hollywood.
And this is how we come to the COVID, how you function in COVID. Do you drive to Hollywood and meet with these guys?
No, they canceled the film festival and put it on the internet. And so we were online, and they were interviewing us. They would say, okay, you got 10 minutes. Tell us about your movie. Or you got 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we've got good reviews. We had about a dozen interviews.
Nice.
And some of the companies are interested. They'd send us your script.
Yeah.
So, this baby's all over, and we're trying to get it going. Now, Coach White told me that when an agent approached him about the movie, McFarland, it took 17 years before it came on to the movie screen. So we're doing good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. So even under COVID, you're able to develop ideas, be creative, have meetings, different ways of doing things.
Well, you got to be creative, and you got to pursue.
Right.
Yeah, and I learned that in running.
Well, this is one of those movies that could be truly inspirational. First, it's all true.
It's
Every
all
word
true,
of it's
every bit of it.
And it's real, and something really happens. Somebody starts, goes through adversity, coming into America, getting deported, getting thrown out of your house, getting your name changed.
Any of those things could have derailed me, but I just had a very strong will to win, and I was determined to go to college, and I did, to teach and coach, and I did, and then left teaching, went and pursued advertising, worked for Univision, and then started my own agency. Had developed a Spanish agency, but also I developed Hmong radio. So we had the first Hmong radio in history. Because I asked the Hmong people, did you have Hmong radio in back home? They said no, it was Lao. So they said, no, you're the first radio for our people. And I said, whoa.
That's great.
Yeah, I didn't know it.
Well, Pete, is there a place, you have a Facebook or a web address or anything where people go learn more about this?
Well, my logo's in the background there, and it's Hispanic profiles, athletic profiles, and there's a web address there.
Okay.
And information can be through there.
All right. Well, we want you to come back as this develops. I could see the movie in my mind now, young Pedro,
Well, it's like a Rocky. It's like a Rocky, but it's about a young immigrant boy and the journey to success,
Right.
and a lot of pitfalls.
Yeah, great cross-cultural story, too.
Yeah. So,
All right, Pete, do we leave anything out?
No, I think we said most of the things.
Yeah. Pete Romero, keep an eye out for him. People my age, we've been hearing about him from the 60s to now, and I think we're going to hear a lot more, but that movie would be fantastic. We'll be back with more Central Valley Talk right after this.